guys, my name is Buki. I'm one of the sewing instructors at Western Sewing Repair Hub. So today we're going to be making it's basically what you use to just hold your cord together when you're not using it, or maybe when you're traveling and you don't want it to be all over the place, you just want to just hold it together. So what do you need for this? You need your fabric. Now I have two pieces of fabric. This is 5 inches by 6 inches, the same thing with the lining fabric. So this is my outer fabric because this one has a little bit of pattern on it, and this is a plain lining. So for this project, if depending on what you want, you can choose to use a fusible interfacing for this. But for me, I'm now using a fusible interfacing because this is going to work perfectly without a fusible interfacing. So I don't see why I should use one. But it all depends on you. If you want a fusible interfacing, that's perfect. You can also use that. And the measurement of this project depends on what you're using it for. For example, if you want to use it for a laptop cord, you can make it a little bit longer than this. I'm using this for this cord right here, which is not so long, so I can fold it and it's not so bulky. That's why I have this measurement. So if you're using yours for a bulky cord or very long cord that you have to fold it and it's so big, you should use a longer measurement. So this is 5 inches by 6 inches on the length. So for you, if you're using for a laptop cord, you probably want to use like 8 inches or 10 inches. It's still gonna be fine because you're gonna wrap it around the cord anyway, so you can always adjust it. Okay, so to get started, what you're gonna do is lay out your fabric and cut out your measurements. Once that is done, because I have my measurement right here already, so you put the two pieces together. Now the right side is going to be facing up, and the inside of your fabric is going to be facing down, and then you put the lining fabric on top of it. If you want to use a fusible interfacing, put it on the lining fabric and then just iron it on the lining fabric already, and before you put it on your outer piece. So for me, my lining has no inside or outside. It's just I can use any side for my inside or outside, so I wouldn't really care how I put this. I'm just going to line it up with my outer fabric, and I can choose to pin it in place. So I'm going to just take this to the sewing machine and just stitch them together. So this project is actually one of the very easy projects you're going to be making, because it takes a very short time to make this and it's really easy to make. So what I want to do now is just stitch all around this project and leave a little bit of space to turn the right side out when I am done. So I'm just going to put a little bit of mark because this project is not so big, so I don't really need a huge space to turn the right side out. 1.5 inches is enough to turn this right side out. So I'm just gonna leave. You can decide to take measurements or just highball it and just leave your space. So this is the space I'm leaving. This should be about 1.5 inch. If we take the measurement, let's see. Yeah, it's a little bit more. It's 1/3, but it's fine. I'm still going to close it anyway, so it really doesn't matter. So I'm just going to sew all around this with 1/2 inch seam allowance. So now we bring this sewing machine, and I'm going to start stitching from here with my 1/2 inch sewing allowance. Cut out the thread and take out all the pins. So now what I want to do is I want to cut out the edges and excess fabric on the inside of this project. So just when you're cutting this, be careful, make sure you're not cutting your stitch and you're cutting just enough from the edges. So try not to cut up your stitch. So if I feel like the sides are gonna be too bulky, I'm gonna cut them out. But for this, I think it's just fine. Especially when I don't have fusible interfacing, I don't really need to cut it out because it's not gonna be so bulky. So I'm just gonna turn this right side out from the little opening that I left that was not closed. Yeah. So make sure all the edges are out. This is where we use a pencil or a pen or something, any straight object that is not sharp at the end. Don't use a scissors because scissors is sharp, it's gonna poke a hole in your projects. Now this is what we have, and I need to iron this before we move on. So I'm just gonna turn up the iron and press. This side is not completely out. I need to push it out. Okay, so we're done ironing, and now I need to fix this on the projects to hold it together. But before I do that, I want to close this small opening that I have right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to top stitch all around this whole project before I put the button to hold it. So I'm just gonna stitch all around it, and that way I'm gonna top stitch. I'm going to close the So when you're top stitching, you want to make sure that your stitch is as close to the edge as possible. So I'm cutting out the excess thread from here to make sure it's neat. Now it's perfectly closed. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place one of this on one side. I'm placing it on the outer part of the fabric, so I want to make sure that I place it in the middle. So what I'm going to do is I can take the measurement, or I can just fold it into half, and that way I can get the middle. So just make sure that you use your finger, your nails, to just press it down. That way you can have a mark on the middle. So when you have that, just place this right in the middle. It has a glue at the back side of it, so it's gonna stay, but you still need to stitch it down so it doesn't just come off when you're trying to use your holder. So the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna just try to just fill it out and see how this is gonna work. So what you're gonna do is just basically see where you're gonna put the second part, because it has a second one. Just try to see where you're gonna put the second one. So right at the edge of this part, that's where I'm gonna put it. So it's gonna be on the inside now. So one is going to be on the outside, the next one is going to be on the inside, and it should also be in the middle. So you just repeat exactly the same thing you did on that side. Try to find the middle. If you don't have nails, you can also use your scissors. So you just do this, the edge of your scissors, and then you're going to get the middle. So what you're going to do is just paste this right at the edge, and we're good to go. So now you can put this right here, and you have your cord holder or cord keeper, as you may call it. So yeah, so you can also use this for your for a smaller cord. So use this for a smaller cord. I have my earpiece right here. It's all tangled up. Okay, so to use this for a smaller cord, I'm going to fold this and show you how. So all you have to do is just adjust this stick horn that you have. So I have, actually this is way too small, but it's okay, it's gonna hold. So you see, if I do this, it's not gonna hold it perfectly if I just put it on it. So what I can do is I can move this to the back, move this all the way like here, make sure it's still in the middle, just move it a little bit to the back and stick it down perfectly. That's before you put a permanent stitch, and then you can hold it this way. So that way you can adjust the size to whatever size you want. It can't get bigger actually, unfortunately, but it can get smaller. You can make it smaller. So if you want to use it for your earpiece or headphones, that's going to be perfect. If you want to use it for a bigger cord, that's also going to be perfect. Yeah, so that's what we have for you today, but you can only move it before you make a permanent stitch for this to last, because if I keep opening it and taking it out and closing it, it's gonna come off eventually because the glue is not that strong. So you still have to make some stitches on this one with your end needle or with the sewing machine. Doesn't matter, whatever you want, however you want to make the stitch, it's gonna be fine. So just make the stitch. But before you make the stitch, try to use your cord to adjust it so you can make a nice stitch. So yeah, that's what we have for you today. Join us again tomorrow for another interesting online sewing tutorial. Thank you guys for joining us, and stay safe.